Hello, Internet friend. Today on Value Side, when a president goes it alone. I'm David Ravel. Well, rarely has our country faced as many issues across as many fields as we do today. Ask the average American or look at the opinion polls, and you'll find grave concern about our economic future, world peace, and our personal finances. It's a collection of worries that happens rarely. And yet, it has happened before. Perhaps the most troublesome time was nearly a century ago, a period of economic depression and a looming world war. Early in the 20th century, America was emerging as a great international power, and as such, we were learning the lessons of international politics. America's first attempt to institutionalize was interplay among countries. The League of Nations failed, but after World War II, its successor, the United Nations, would remain. Both the League of Nations and the United Nations were born out of times of high stress, conflict, and destruction. The League after World War I and the UN after World War II. The lessons that we learned back then was that the United States could not go it alone. We must work within an international framework of sovereign countries if we expected to live in peace and prosperity. It's a message that has not resonated with President Trump. He has chosen to go it alone in international diplomacy, directing our country's foreign affairs from late night posts on Truth Social rather than using any of the existing modes of diplomacy. Thus, Trump has chosen to have almost all of U.S. international negotiations handled by his son in law, Jared Kushner, and his social buddy, Steve Witkoff, rather than by his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. It's a remarkable breach of protocol, but much more a reduction in expertise, training, and professionalism. Trump's cavalier approach to global politics leads us down a path of missteps and miscalculations that have been detrimental to Americans' interest each time they've tried. It's a miscalculation that inevitably rests on the arrogance of we know best and the failure to recognize that sovereign countries do not have to follow America's policies simply because we say so. Take a look at tariffs. Liberation Day was the first stunning example of Trump's attempt to conform the world to his way of doing business. Less than 3 months into his second term, on April 2nd, 2025, President Trump presented 190 nations with their new tariffs. All goods sold to the United States would now be taxed, according to the February 20th Supreme Court decision, at various rates depending upon the president's inclination that day. I'll leave for another discussion the fact that it is the American consumer who pays the majority of that tax. After the president issued his tariff proclamation, a vociferous public debate ensued. Were these tariffs a tax? Who paid the tariffs? And would tariffs cause inflation? And on went the debate. But each question centered on what the effects of the tariffs would have on this country, totally missing the most important calculation, the one that we still face. The question that we should ask, and the one Trump administration failed to ask, is what effect will the tariffs have on our trading partners? Partners who are sovereign countries, independent, not dependent on the United States. Partners who are fully capable of going their own way. Now, each of our trading partners may at their leisure decide on how to react to Trump's tariffs. China has been our most visible and important trading partner, and it has decided to limit or exclude certain rare earth minerals from sale to the United States. Rare earths that we cannot source anywhere else. Rare earths that are essential in our production of certain advanced weapons used in both the Ukraine and Iranian wars. It's no coincidence, and it's a subtle but impact reaction to America's new trade policy, exemplified by these tariffs. China's move to other markets and its de-emphasizing of America are all part of its broader reaction to America's new, and from their perspective hostile, trade policy. All of this follows exactly the course of the Smoot-Hawley tariffs of the 1930s, the last time America attempted to place tariffs on the rest of the world. It's not the tariffs per se or the revenue that they may generate that is critically important. It is the reaction of our trading partners. What happens outside of our borders matters. In the 30s, those Smoot-Hawley tariffs resulted in counter tariffs as our sovereign partners decided to fight back tit for tat. We are yet to see the full impact of the international community on Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. China has already begun pushing back against Trump's aggressive policies, and Europe is growing increasingly unhappy with this administration. And don't forget, the Supreme Court's February 20 decision just struck down the legal framework Trump was using at that time. When the Supreme Court ruled against him, he just floated another legal construct to impose a 10% global tariff on the rest of the world. That tariff battles are far from over. Let's look at Iran. This same unwillingness to recognize the sovereignty of other nations, which exists in Trump's tariff policy, also is apparent in the Iran peace plan negotiations, as it was in the Ukraine negotiations. Again, the president has called upon two individuals with backgrounds in real estate and finance, Kirshner and Witkoff, to conduct these negotiations. There is no indication that these two negotiators have any background in Iran U.S. historic relationships. The various nuclear disarmament treaties, or especially the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Agreement, signed in July of 2015, which included Iran, America, France, Russia, China, and Germany. Under normal circumstances, this prior agreement, the JCPOA, would be the foundation upon which any new agreement would be built. But not in this case. After all, according to the president, the JCPOA was agreed to under another president from another political party, and therefore any agreement was not acceptable to President Trump. It's incomprehensible. Apparently, Trump would rather see additional Americans' lives lost than accept a Democrat treaty. Now, we are living at a time when the repercussions of Trump policies will begin to impact our lives. According to the Tax Foundation, Trump tariffs are expected to cost the average American household $1,300 this year, while the price of gasoline, thanks to that Iran war, hit $4.11 this month, according to the Automobile Association of America. That's a 30% rise so far in gasoline. Both of these issues, tariffs and the price of gasoline, come directly from Trump's policies, Liberation Day, and his undeclared war on Iran. And that's today's Value Side. For all of our articles and podcasts, visit valueside.com. I'm David Rebell. ValueSide is independently written and researched. The views expressed are strictly my own.